Although the Beets family has a long history of success, nobody anticipated this for years. Mike's well-known father, Tony Beets, assisted him in managing crews, operating heavy equipment, and operating the family's gold mine business. Unlike his more visible brothers, he avoided the limelight. While his father's fortune increased to $15 million, he secretly established his own business. Mike's net worth has been a relatively little portion of that up until now. After years of toiling away in the cold Yukon, he left behind something that would alter everything. It was about more than just gold. It was about sacrifice, family, and a heartbreaking conclusion that brought the Beets family to tears. What exactly did Mike leave behind, and why did it affect those closest to him the most? Throughout his life, Mike Beets has been surrounded by gold, both in the earth and in the family business that brought the Beets name to the world's attention. Tony Beets, the father of the well-known $15 million Klondike King, is the second youngest child in a mining family. Mike's brothers Kevin and Mona have gone their separate ways in the family's gold mining operation. But Mike has established himself as the crew's heavy machinery specialist, capable of taking on the most challenging tasks. Moving anything large that needs to be transported, such as a multi-million-dollar wash plant, an Oshkosh truck, or a 40-ton crane is Michael's responsibility. He is responsible for ensuring that the business continues to operate. Even though he is intelligent, his fortune pales in comparison to his father's. Like many Beets youths, mine worker Mike began at the bottom and has been there since he was 13. While his father established an empire, Mike learned how to handle the everyday grind of life on a gold claim, including operating heavy machinery and carrying big weights. He is currently among the game's top operators. The problem is that his net worth is merely $200,000. That's a mere 2% of Tony's enormous fortune. Mike still has a lot to prove, even though his older brother Kevin is worth $2 million. The Beets family is different from other mining teams. This is a family history based on risk, perseverance, and a little bit of luck, rather than a company with boardrooms and investors. After relocating from the Netherlands to Canada, Tony had a dream. He made a gold mining company out of that desire. Along the way, he made sure his children put in just as much effort as any other worker. That meant spending long hours in the cold, getting up early, and performing the most difficult tasks for Mike. By his late teens, he was operating heavy equipment, moving dredges, and maintaining multi-million-dollar instruments like a pro. In actuality, though, Tony Beets remains in command. Mike is still carrying on his father's legacy, although Kevin and Monica have assumed more significant leadership positions. Although he is a popular, talented, and one of Team Beets' top machine workers, he is not the company's manager. This implies that his income is still comparable to that of a miner and lower than that of a business owner. Running a group the size of Team Beets and mining are not inexpensive. Mike earns roughly $500,000 per season, or $25,000 per Gold Rush episode. Although it's a respectable wage, Tony's earnings from the company itself still far exceed it. He earns money working in a mine in his free time, but it isn't quite as excellent as what his brothers and father make when they make decisions. A gap is seen. Mike is still putting in a lot of effort on the ground, but Kevin and Monica are in charge of my business side. Although Mike is well known for his involvement with Gold Rush, most people are unaware of his other interests. When he's not transporting gold, rich earth across the Yukon, he engages in full combat, medieval combat. Real sword fights took place. Mike enjoys acting out medieval scenarios, so he dons a 60-pound suit of armor and engages in actual nightly combat. He differs from his family because of his favorite activity. While Mike is just as passionate about mining by day and nightly battling by night, Tony and Kevin are completely devoted to mining. It's an intriguing distinction. In the Yukon, he works as a machine operator battling the elements to extract gold from the earth. In his own time, however, he enjoys a whole other kind of excitement as he trains for sword fights, However, Mike and Tony don't always get along back in my world. Even though they collaborate, there have been instances where tensions have arisen. A TRL abruptly shutting down was one of the worst things that occurred. Tony, who was always a strict employer, assumed Mike would immediately resolve the issue. When Mike stopped and explained he had been warned it wouldn't move, Tony wasn't pleased. He gave straightforward advice. In mining, you just have to perform your job and don't make excuses. Mike has always been into that. Mike is intelligent, diligent, and skillful, and he is one of Team Beets' greatest machine operators. However, Mike is still displaying himself, in contrast to Kevin, who took the initiative as a leader. Mike only has a net worth of $200,000. Compared to his father or even his brothers, this is significantly less. However, why? Mike is a worker, not a boss. He maintains the mine, running, moves the large equipment, and operates the heavy machinery, but he is not the company's owner. This implies that while Tony and Kevin profit greatly from the sale of gold and commercial dealings, Mike continues to get miners' wages, which raises an important question. Will he ever be able to leave his father? Mining is costly, dangerous, and difficult to plan for. In a single season, a squad may perform well or poorly. Tony has made a lot of money throughout the years by making wise decisions. Mike, however, continues to put in a lot of effort to manage the shows. That doesn't change the fact that he isn't useful. In actuality, Mike usually takes the biggest chances. If something goes wrong with the tools, it is his responsibility to fix, move, or retrieve them. In terms of mishaps, the Beets team once came dangerously close to losing a significant sum of money. Mike was transporting a $300,000 wash plant, one of the most crucial pieces of mining equipment on the property. Transporting items should have been a simple task, but a horrible incident occurred. They assumed the task would be simple: simply load a 25-ton wash plant, drive 20 miles, and prepare it for use at Dominion Creek. If the driver was careful, the task would take 4 to 5 hours. However, gold is never that simple to find. Driving the $300,000 plant and making sure it arrived undamaged was Michael Beets' responsibility. Maintaining the equipment's functionality and wholeness was the aim of this hazardous shipping task. At first, everything went smoothly. Known as the Kiwi Wash Plant, the plant had been collecting dust and rust at Paradise Hill all season. Despite its imperfections, it remained a vital piece of machinery capable of processing tons of pay dirt every hour. Mike was responsible for getting it there after Tony Beets agreed to move it. The large lowboy trailer was loaded with the heavy machinery, secured with sturdy chains, and prepared for the lengthy journey. It was rather smooth for the first couple miles. As the convoy traveled across the dirt roads, the Beets team had experienced negotiating sharp bends and challenging terrain on numerous occasions. Then suddenly, one of the chains that secured it snapped. The shift in weight was abrupt and severe. Just then, the entire wash plant tipped over. The squad could do nothing, but it was too late. In an instant, the massive structure flew off the trailer's side and struck the uneven ground below. The two objects collided, creating a dust cloud and a noise that reverberated across the valley. Mike must have been quite nauseous. On its side was a $250,000 piece of mining equipment that might break and was partially buried in gravel. There was an actual issue at hand. When it comes to gold mining, every second matters. Without gold, there would be no earnings, and without the wash plant, there would be no gold. Saving the season was more important than simply correcting an error. Tony Beets could not afford to wait. With two enormous front-end loaders, machines capable of effortlessly lifting tens of thousands of pounds, he promptly assembled a rescue crew. However, despite their might, this was not going to be simple to resolve. Attach chains to the plant, raise it gradually, and gently return it to its base without causing more damage. The plan was straightforward yet dangerous. If you make a mistake, things could grow worse. The plant can tilt in the wrong direction, which could harm crucial components or even cause it to become irreparably trapped. Mike led the recovery effort after jumping inside one of the loaders. He was aware that they might lose hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gold and be late for weeks if the work wasn't done correctly. The chains were under a lot of strain at the first pull. The plant was immobile due to its deep roots in the earth. However, it began to move inch by inch and very slowly. The air was heavy with stress. The entire building might collapse and sustain irreparable harm if you make even one error. By altering their holding technique, the loaders maintained control and an even force. The wash plant made a hard landing and dropped back to its base with a final pull. It was immediately pleasant. The structure was back up and running, but was it fit for purpose? There were dings, scratches, and several bent support components when it was first inspected. However, the key components remained, including the shaker deck, screens, and slows. The plant survived the fall, but it seemed impossible. We had no time to waste. The crew reinforced the chains and inspected each location where they were fastened before attempting to transfer the package once more. This time, they walked more slowly. Every turn and bump had to be done with extreme caution. It took 8 long, arduous hours for the Kiwi wash plant to reach Dominion Creek. It had taken twice as long to get there. After swiftly unloading it, the crew meticulously assembled it for immediate use. They ultimately succeeded in saving the season after what began as a catastrophe evolved into a rescue effort. This taught Mike something. He was awakened. No job is ever truly routine, even if you've worked there for years. Their entire business was at jeopardy, and a single broken link nearly lost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Using million-dollar gold mine machinery requires extreme caution and accuracy. Simply digging holes and operating sluice boxes is insufficient.